I love that intro. It just gets you jacked.
How you doing, Chris? Welcome to episode 12 of Tactical Arbitrage Late Night, which may be our last episode for the year, for 2020. I know we're all pretty keen to see the back of 2020, but not everyone's keen to see the back of Late Night with Tactical Arbitrage, but it's just for the year. I'm saying that because over the next couple of weeks, we are all so darn busy. We've got Q4. We've just kicked off the 12 days of Tactical Arbitrage, which means, we've had 12 wonderful episodes of Late Night with Tactical Arbitrage. And then in the spirit of Christmas, the 12 nights of Christmas, we're doing 12 days of giveaways of Tactical Arbitrage. That's going to chew up a couple of weeks. We've got Black Friday sort of thrown in the mix there. We're all going to be hectically sourcing. Nobody's going to have time to sit and watch our two mugs, or Nate as well, gabbing about Q4 when we're all right in the thick of actually managing Q4. So I think after episode 12, which is a nice round number to wrap things up for the year, we'll leave it for 2020 and kickstart again in 2021 with a whole new season. But it's been a great season, man. I've loved this. We've covered everything from the anatomy of a deal to all of the different COVID restrictions we had along the way, the changes in Amazon along the way. We've watched Jeff Bezos double his wealth. What a milestone!
Oh man, he just he needed a little carrying around money the other day and cashed in about $3 billion worth of stock, just so he could, I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do with it. Maybe buy another mansion for his girlfriend. I don't know.
I bet his wife wishes she'd divorced him just 1 year later. Because, 50 billion versus 100 billion. Either way, she's come off pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, her wealth doubled this year too, essentially.
She got stocks.
Yeah, she got to keep a portion of the stock, but she gave her voting rights to Jeff. So she's got a ton of money in the bank. I think she's the richest woman in the world, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, wow. Yep. The Bezos have got it together. I guess her last name's not Bezos anymore. She's probably gone back to her maiden name, which I don't know what that is.
I think it's Mackenzie.
Mackenzie. Yeah, I don't have many investments. My only two investments, though, are Bitcoin and Tesla. And I've been watching those, and I'm like, oh, well, at least I picked a couple of winners. There's I don't know whether it's, I guess, COVID or the US election or something, but either way, both of those investments are kicking along. So I'm probably going to extract a little bit of that because I had Bitcoin a long time ago. I first bought Bitcoin in 2014 for $50 a throw. And I bought a few of them then, not enough, of course.
Don't you wish you bought 1,000?
I thought I'll buy 10 of these, and see. Let's see what happens to those 10. Now I'm thinking, wouldn't 100 of those be nice even?
Oh man.
Now I bought a few more along the way when it was not as high price as it is now. But in 2017 and the beginning of 2018, it really spiked. And I just sort of sat there watching it going, oh, wow, my investment. And then it just completely crashed. I was like, oh, wow,
I remember that conversation. You were in Las Vegas at the time on a vacation, and you left your wallet at home. I remember that conversation very well.
Did I leave? I left it in the room, or
no? You left your wallet back in Australia while you and the family were on vacation.
Yeah, it was not a great day for me because I was watching this investment of mine just plummet down. It went from, I think, I don't know whether it was not. I'm thinking Australian dollars as well, but it was something like 19,000 US dollars, I think, and it dropped right back down to a couple of grand or something, almost nothing, And so I had a reasonably sizable amount of money there for a hot minute. And so it just went down, but I didn't really sell any. I thought, why sell it now? It's worth a couple of grand. I might as well just sit on it. And so now I've been noticing and going, oh, wow, it's back up. It's back up to almost where it was at its peak. So I'm wondering if I should be stupid enough to just watch it again. I went a bit blurry for a second there. I was glazing over in Dreamworld. So I'm wondering if I should be stupid enough to just watch it again, or if this time I should maybe cash in the chips and walk away from the table. or at least half of it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
it's a tough one.
Yeah, and Tesla, I think's just had a little boost as well, but Tesla's a bit wobbly. Some goes up and down all the time.
Yeah, just wait for Elon to say something stupid on Twitter, and it'll pop back down there.
I don't know what's with him. 1 minute he's like promoting Kanye as an actual, as a real like electoral candidate, and the next minute he's on the Joe Rogan show blazing it up. So
right.
I don't know if he. I drive one of his cars though, and the car works well.
Yeah, we love. You know, my wife has a Model 3. Absolutely loves it. You know, and it is a great car. He's built a good car, and you know, being able to make them a little bit cheaper and things like that is gonna do really well for them. I don't know. I think that Elon is so smart that we can't get him. We don't know where his mind is.
He's just like another density. He's like fifth density off the astral plane. Talking to the PayPal gods.
Right.
Well, one thing I guess that did, you know, looking for a segue here, but one thing the whole crashing of the Bitcoin in 2017, 2018 taught me was there is no more reliable thing you can trust than actually head down, bum up, doing the work. And that's what I've been doing with tactical arbitrage. Who knows what would have happened if I cashed in way back in 2018? Chances are I'd still be here because I love tactical arbitrage. I love everything about what it does for this community. And I'm still here so far. So I wanted to talk a little bit today while we still have our audience, because we tend to digress, which is fun. But, you know, they're probably sitting here going, get on with it. One thing I wanted to do is cover today a couple of little tricks and tips when it comes to running a search. Maybe do a little bit of fireside searching while we're gabbing along. I also was wondering if we could a bit later on show Javier San Juan's from Tactical Bucket fame, his new exciting extension. This man is a genius, and he's found a way to tap into some of the really complicated sites that we get blocked by tactical arbitrage. When we go to add certain sites, a lot of them are super easy. They basically, you know, part the waters for us and say, come on in, you know, have a look at our products and you can compare those to Amazon and do what tactical arbitrage does best. Some other sites have got like, it's like the door of a safe. They've got a whole bunch of different codes and protections and things, and they just don't really want any type of, I guess, bot style activity comparing the products of one to another. So Javier sort of came up with an intelligent solution. He said, you know, if the user's actually doing this from their home computer with their own extension, then basically it's as if that particular visitor is at home and he's checking these very hard sites to get normally using his version of the code, his variant of the code, and he can actually access those more complicated sites to add to tactical arbitrage using this extension, and then send the data from that collection point into tactical arbitrage, plugging it directly in using his extension as well. It's pretty elegant, and he's a smart guy, and I'm glad I've got Javier on my team, because I'd hate for him to go to anyone else's team. He really adds value to tactical arbitrage, and he always adds it in a way that it's a no-brainer to get anything that he does, whether it's Tactical Bucket or this new Tactical Expander. I know he's done the whole limited release thing with Tactical Expander, and not everybody was able to get their hands on it. I'm kind of conscious that he might be doing a Black Friday thing as well. I'm not sure why he's rolling it out at the pace he's rolling it out. Maybe just so that he can, you know, while it's a fairly new product, he can stay on top of any like questions or queries that come in, make sure that it's a polished product. He's very onto the ball with making things, you know, on point. So you can probably fill us in a bit more on that, but I'm hoping we can dive into his tool a bit more later, because when when I saw what he'd created there and how it solved some of the problems that even my most senior developers were unable to work with this workaround model that he's done, I thought, you know what, that is smart, and it ties in so well with tactical arbitrage, and you know, I want to see him do well with this, because anybody who uses this is going to have an edge, to be honest.
Yeah, you know, one of the other things that, and I think it gets mentioned, but Javier is also one of the nicest guys in the entire world.
He's so nice, man.
He really is.
He's so good. I stayed with him last time I was in Vegas, which feels like a lifetime ago. Not being able to travel over to see you guys has been a real dagger in the side. I wish that I could be there, and it's been forever. But during that stay, Nate and I and Javier all stayed in a pretty nice hotel in what's the one with the waterfalls out the front of the place?
Bellagio. Pretty sure it was Bellagio. No, or Caesar's Palace. Caesar's.
It was Caesar's Palace. It was next, sort of, when you say next door, everything in Las Vegas that's next door is about a 4-mile walk. But yeah, we stayed there with him, and we had a great time. He's just the nicest guy, and he would be getting us bottles of water. You know, when we might have had a few drinks at a conference the night before, there'd be bottles of water next to our bed, and everything would just be just so nice to have Javi there. He's just such a nice guy. But before we get into that extension, I wanted to go over a little tool that you created, I believe, a few years ago.
It was actually, so this is kind of the brainchild of myself and Javier. Javier actually stayed with me in Florida for a conference, stayed at my house. My son, actually had my son convinced that he's a werewolf. And we were just, you know, we would stay up until, you know, 11, 12 o'clock at night talking, and this kind of came out of our conversations. So once he got back to Spain, he coded it all up, and we kind of went back and forth with it, and then it became a product. And I have not gotten the word out as well as I should have.
So the tool, of course, we're talking about here is Sales Gazer. Now, if you look at the pinned post in Tactical Arbitrage, it basically says you should sign up to these newsletters and have these newsletters come into your email so that you can keep an eye on what promotions that each website is doing at any one time. Now, I need to update that pinned post because I knew about Sales Gazer, but I hadn't really deep dived into it properly. And I made sure that prior to this webinar, I sat down with Chris and I had a good talk. I said, you know, I get so busy with 1,000 different tasks, and I know Sales Gazer exists, but I haven't really played with it. As soon as I did, I thought I should have been talking about this Sales Gazer from day 0. It's just so easy. So I'm going to share my screen and go into Sales Gazer. Share the screen, application window, yada, yada. Here we go. All right. So hopefully you can see this on your screens okay. And I might be able to resize that a little better. Okay. So it looks just like an email client. Really, it's got an inbox. And as you can see, I've got all of these different promotional emails from these different companies. I've got academy.com, AE.com, Andrew Mark, Alan Mons, etc. And you notice a bit of a pattern there. It's all the A's in Tactical Arbitrage because this was kind of how I ran my experiment. So basically, you go into the settings page, you sign up. What's the cost on this? Because so far it hasn't tried to bill me. Is there a trial that's going to start? When do I pay for this, Chris?
It is the price tag is $0 forever.
The price tag is $0 forever. So of all the no-brainer tools that exist in the no-brainer world of no-brainer tools, this is the no-braineriest. This is so obviously something you should get. The only thing that could make this better is if there was a button that said add all Tactical Arbitrage sites with one click, because it is super, super, super easy, except for that sort of manual, like addition process. And maybe I'm missing a button there, but it is pretty darn easy to add everything anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do is I go to product search, and I just went down the list here, and I was like, Abes of Maine, absinthe, ABT, and I'd come over to here and I'd go store, Abes of Maine, and I would toggle this switch on to subscribe, and absinthe, and I'd toggle that switch on to subscribe, and ABT, toggle that switch on. I mean, really, you could just toggle on everything if you wanted to, but there are some sites that aren't in Tactical Arbitrage, but these are probably sites that exist in Tactical Bucket.
They are indeed.
Because I can't imagine you and Javier making this without trying to sort of use the sites that are most relevant to the products that you're working with every day. So really, you could skip a few steps. I've probably done it the slow way here by trying to toggle on one by one that's in TA. But was I using the Tactical Bucket tool as well, then all the X paths that would have appeared in Tactical Arbitrage would be relevant to these as well. So this baseball savings I know is in TA, Lenovo. There's just a bunch in here you could just tick on. You know, there's sites like Walgreens, which I know are in TA, and they're all in here, you know. Miniature Market, etc. Okay, I've already ticked Miniature Market. So what you do then is you go to your inbox, and traditionally I would have said, make yourself another folder in your Gmail, and then you're completely in control of managing all this. But this is all kind of, this is basically the other inbox that you need, and it's ready to go. And if there's they appear here in date order as they come in. So in the last 12 hours alone, we've had allposters.com. That's not a site I really hit so much. You might know of some gems that are in there, but to me, that's not really a site that I super recommend. And you're really looking at these Black Friday sales, the Black Friday Miniature Market sale, up to 85% off. I like Miniature Market. I always find products in Miniature Market. While we're talking, I might even start a Miniature Market scan. Miniature Market. Let's duck over here and Black Friday sale up to 85%. Okay, it looks like they've just trickled the Black Friday pricing right in there. So I'm just going to tick board games, add to bulk. And Miniature Market doesn't really tend to have any cashbacks or gift cards. Now, that goes against what I recommend. I say always use cashbacks, always use gift cards where you can find them. It's always just going to stack your chances at finding profitable deals. But these prices look like they're built right in. I can see their regular retail price and our price. So there's no need to use a store coupon either. I'm just going to run this search. What have I got going on here? I've got remove ranks. I've got a prep cost per standard product. I've got a cost per pound to ship to Amazon. Show me anything with any ROI, and I'm just going to hit search on that. And that can just do its thing now. I've got a 3-day cache going as well, so anything that sort of appears in recent history will appear a bit faster. So if I wanted to just look up Miniature Market on here, I'd start to type it. It just pops up here, and it shows me a few recent emails. So even though I just added Miniature Market, it's going to still show me these most recent emails. Like I just added Walgreens. All right, and so I'm seeing 4 recent newsletters. So how far back does this go? Like a week back or something?
I want to say it's 3 weeks now. It's either a week or 3 weeks. We had to shorten it up because it was getting a little bogged down with all the emails that were in there.
Yeah, well, it's very, very cool. I wish I'd explored it more sooner because it's one that we just need to share with people. It's only going to give people an additional edge in finding those promotions, clearance sales, etc., faster without having to go through the long, laborious task of signing up to every single individual newsletter, making sure those get funneled into the right the right folder in your Gmail account or having a second Gmail account, etc. You can just do it all a lot quicker. I noticed that there's a couple missing, but there's also option for you to sort of to write in and say, okay, I couldn't find, for example, say Ace Hardware. There was all of the A's were there except for I just think one, like Ace Hardware. But I guess they could just shoot in a note if one doesn't appear. Yeah, I couldn't find Ace Hardware. Maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe Ace Hardware doesn't have a newsletter system. I didn't look.
It's likely just because it hasn't been updated in a couple of months. But yeah, if anybody wants to suggest a new site, they can go right up there into suggest a new site, and they'll get added pretty quickly.
Cool. And where is suggest a new site? Is it?
It's a green button right there at the top of those.
Oh, this big suggest a new site button at the top of the page. Okay, so suggest a new site. So there you go. I could suggest Ace Hardware. As simple as that. And I'm going to just do that right now. So very nice. Very nice. And I think that is one very good way to find these additional savings and products and things as they come in. Another one is tacticalsearchengine.com, which is a Nate McAllister tool. This is pretty cool. So if you go to tacticalsearchengine.com, also a free tool, it looks like it's mainly working just for the all results button at the moment. I couldn't actually make just US specific search find anything. I think maybe that might be an update in Google's code because this is built off the back of Google. But all results still works fine. And what it is doing is it's using the tactical arbitrage domains specifically. And if you type in something like BOGO, which is what I was fooling around with a minute ago, and do a search, it's gonna look at the tactical arbitrage websites and say, okay, over at Swanson's, for example, we've got a buy one get one free deal, and it's another good way for you to find savings that are built into any of these domains that you may not have caught in one of these newsletters. You might get 20% off or something. Any of these sort of searches should bring up stuff that's relevant to you. Nike's got 20% off, Harbor Freight 20% off, Michael's 20% off all regular price items. So this is a good little tool for you to like help you find those coupons, etc., that you want to use when you're running a search and you want to stack those into the source price adjustments. It's a little bit of a sort of a reverse way of doing it. Sort of hunting for that specific sort of nomenclature of what a coupon might be called. But if you start diving down those rabbit holes, you'll be able to sort of get a list of the terms to search for on this page that bring you the results that are most effective more often. Maybe something like buy two get one free would bring up a bunch of different sites as well. In fact, I think I just saw a buy two get one free deal on that Walgreens search a minute ago.
Well, yeah, Walgreens has got they got a buy two get one free right now.
Buy two get the third free skincare. Open link in a new tab. Now, I did open link in a new tab because I clicked a link on SalesGazer earlier and I opened the link within SalesGazer. But if I did open link in a new tab, it seems to open it in a new tab. So we have here buy two get the third free. This is an interesting kind of search because there's no coupon for this. There is actually. There is another coupon in this actually, which I'll leave out of this search, but this is interesting. You can get an extra 10% off again on some of these products with the coupon code PICKUP10. Now that might mean you've got to actually go into the store to pick it up. So I could drill into that more, but for now, let's keep it nice and simple. Let's start a new search.
So Walgreens has just rolled out their buy online and pick up curbside service. Which is actually it's a great idea, as soon as they figure out what they're doing.
So it's a little bit better on paper than in actuality, is it?
Yeah. They just don't understand what curbside orders are quite yet. It's very, very new.
So I'm going to do something which is not using the Easy Bulk. Another shout out to Javier San Juan. If you look just under the words Easy Bulk here, it says the categories have been supplied by Tactical Bucket. So again, great to have Javier on our team. He does wonderful things for TA, and we'll continue to praise his name. So in this case, though, I'm not going to use Easy Bulk. I'm going to switch that off here. I'm going to use a category which I just took directly from the top of the page here. The reason for that being is because Easy Bulk is going to be extracting the most common static URLs that are basically always there. So in this case, the air fresheners category is always going to be there, as seen on TV is always there, etc., etc. And very rarely is a sale or special item a static URL. Normally they kind of like appear and disappear depending on what that URL is. So if you wanted to hit a specific URL, if you go over to the category example tab, which is next to Easy Bulk, it'll usually tell you the sort of look we're going for in a URL. And so you should be able to see whether it's going to work or not. So walgreens.com/store/store, XPO products, $381. So if we go over here, we've got walgreens.com/store/store, question mark and a number. So this should work. There's no reason. It matches basically the same style in almost every manner here. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and say if Tactical Arbitrage is doing what it's supposed to do, then that URL should work. Sometimes it doesn't play ball, but most of the time it does. So buy two, get the third one free, right? So we've got 33% off there, rounding it down, and cash back. So it's automatically populated this using an integration that we did with Christopher Grant's Rev ROI tool. Christopher Grant, another shout out there in the house. And if you go on into the automatic here, you might say, well, you know what? I don't use Be Frugal. I've never really enjoyed Be Frugal. They don't pay me as fast as I like, but I do like Rebates Me. So in which case you can switch over to that. They're also paying 6%. So it doesn't affect us too much. If you wanted to dive into that a bit more, you can actually open up the page using the little link there. And it hasn't done that for me. You know why? It's an IP issue, but that'll give you a bit more information about the 6%. It's because I'm in Australia, guys. Don't hold it against me. If you were to click that button over there in the States, you'll see what I'm not seeing there. It'll give you a bit more information about how that 6% works, and you can confirm that it's going to work. And providing that you're happy with that, leave that on. So we're looking at a couple of decent discounts there, 33% store discount, 6%. And was I to drill into this even further, it looks like we can also add an extra 10% in some cases. But we would have to find the right URL, which I won't do right now, but it'll be down here somewhere in the, actually, if you click usually on their deals, it should bring up, no, I'm wrong. Anyway, with a little bit of extra effort there, I'm sure I could narrow this 2,045 items down to ones that not only buy two, get the third free, but also the extra 10%. And in that case, I would, I don't actually have a gift card of note, so I might just borrow that because it's all about stacking discounts. I might just borrow that and put the 10% in there. Normally, the 10% would go up in the store discount, but this is a very unique case where we've got a double discount that's stackable. So you can do the store discount, the 10%, and the cash back, and then we're getting some pretty cheap items at that point. So what are we going to remove here? I'm not going to change a thing, actually. I like that. $1 an item for prepping is pretty fair. 80 cents per pound to ship to Amazon. That's pretty fair. I like to look at anything with a profit, and I don't like to load up these. I know you're like, you've got all these different filters. Why not use a bunch of them? I'd rather filter in my columns. I always sort of say that this is kind of confusing to people because really I just really super simplify this and just use the ranks. In some rare cases, I might add something like remove if it's a super low rating, like the rating is less than, say, 3.5 or something. And the reason for that is like you might accidentally get a bad feedback based on the product, which is not fair. You know, they don't like the product. The product is so bad. It's a rating of 2 for a reason. It's basically breaks really easy or something. And then they'll flick you a negative review based on the bad product, but they should really only be giving you a review based on the quality of your FBA fulfillment experience. And so for that reason, I might sometimes remove a low rating. If you really want to drill into what I sometimes might use as well, I might also remove a product with an Amazon price that's too low. So I'm not really looking to sell something that only sells for $6 on Amazon, for example. So I might put something in there too. But the less filters that you use in there, the better. And I'm going to run a search on that now too. So that's a couple of cool little tools there. You've got Sales Gazer, and we barely scratched the surface there. But I'm sure even in the A's in the last day, there's going to be something. But this is cool, Chris. I like what you've done here. You can even search the messages. So if you do just want sort of percentage off type things, I wonder if you can just use percentage and search there.
You should be able to.
If I just use the percentage in the search term, it's narrowing down all of these different titles just to a percentage one. What about Black Friday? Anything appearing for that yet? Let's do a little search. And so now we're seeing all the ones who are currently advertising their Black Friday deals. And, you know, maybe I don't like all posters appearing so often. I'm not finding any deals there. All I've got to do is just go into my list of sites and just remove that from the subscription, and it'll just disappear from this list. So super easy. Everybody watching this today is going to go and sign up to Sales Gazer. It's free. Why don't you do it? Now we have some products coming in here. Shall we take a look?
Let's do it. If we find something profitable, I call dibs.
No, you're not allowed. But, you know, if you find anything profitable on these webinars, you got to imagine that a lot of other people are watching this as well. And, you know, you could be fighting people. So
during the OA challenge, I specifically told people not to buy things that we looked at during the webinars. And I know that happened on a few occasions because I went back and checked. And I could see that the number of sellers spiked and of course the price started going down a little bit.
Well, it's pretty easy to find stuff. I mean, you get your favorite sites. I call on Miniature Market and Walgreens more than I probably should in these videos, because I'm familiar with knowing that they're always going to have something. You know, they're a bit of a staple, but there is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tactical arbitrage sites, and if you start adding in the tactical bucket XPaths as well, you're looking at pretty much a couple of thousand sites, maybe 1,000 in the United States alone. But over the course of all the countries you can source in, you know, almost a couple of thousand. And the fact you can add your own sites as well. You can add your own site and then get that site added as a request to Sales Gazer. And so, you know, for anyone who says add your own site, you can go into the settings, advanced settings, and actually add XPaths of sites, which is a coding term. You can go on Upwork, hire coders to actually write the XPaths for you, and then add those XPaths yourselves manually to Tactical Arbitrage, so you can a la carte search the sites that you want to that are not already added to Tactical Arbitrage. Now, it won't work for every site. Some sites we can't even add with either XPath or hard coding methods, which is a much deeper attempt to try and add the site. So we in these cases recommend that you search for other ways. We've got a little send report bug appearing there, and this always happens when I'm recording StreamYard at the same time. I swear there's some kind of conflict that goes on. anyway, I can check that once we're offline. But so I can see some products here, $2.79. When you've added your prepping, your shipping, etc., $4.46. And we'll duck on over here. You can see this one sells for $17. You need to do due diligence and check that it's the same size, same product, etc. This is a 3.5 ounce product versus a 3.5 ounce product. Does it sell? It's selling pretty regularly. So a couple other things. Check restrictions. Good news, your account has no obvious restrictions on selling this item. If you don't have the restrictions detective extension, you need to add that. It'll talk to your Seller Central account and let you know whether or not you have any gating restrictions or no gating restrictions. Now, this particular product is not in stock, so I can see a little red cell here, which is a red flag telling me that it's not in stock. I've got this sorting by profit rather than sorting by added, and so things are jumping around a little bit. But we are seeing profitable items here. What's this guy? $25. What's the profit we're looking for over here? So there's only a couple of percent ROI here, so that's probably not as interesting to me. But it does sell a lot and fast. Before I completely say goodbye to this product, I'm going to jump on into Tactical Edge and have a look at who's holding the buy box. Is it a merchant fulfilled seller? It's Amazon. All right. Run screaming. No, I'm not afraid to go up against Amazon, but in this instance here, there's just not enough margins, and it says they don't have many in stock, and they do go out of stock quite a bit, actually. So I probably believe they really don't have many in stock. It says they've only got a few in stock there. There's a chance, though, that they'll go out of stock. I would watch this product. It sells so fast. Estimated monthly sales of 157. I would check back on this product tomorrow. And if it's just this seller left, who's a merchant fulfilled seller, then there's no reason why you couldn't send something in as FBA. Traditionally, you can price higher than merchant fulfilled. And so a product that did look like a definitely don't sell because the margins just aren't there, etc. Once you start drilling into it, looks like there may be opportunity after all. And that is a good example. Not the best example because I'm not seeing that Amazon staying away for regularly long periods of time, but it is an example of where you should always drill into a product a little deeper. There's also an example of why I set my ROI so low. I'm only looking for products that sort of have any profit, because by the time you've actually gone into Tactical Edge on some products, you'll find that there is opportunity for much larger margins. Like in some cases, Amazon's not on here at all. And the first two sellers are merchant fulfilled, and they only have a couple of items in stock. And you'll see the price on the first guy might be $25. The next guy's $28. They're both merchant fulfilled. He's only got 2 in stock. He's got 5 in stock. And then above that, there's $35 FBA. Now, the guy who's sitting there at $35 FBA with 200 items ready to go, he's smart. He knows not to undercut the merchant fulfilled seller by 1 cent, because in a few days' time, he's going to sell out. You can price above the second merchant fulfilled guy anyway, higher being FBA. And so suddenly that 2% margin is starting to look more like 23%, and that's when you know that product is worth looking at. Now, if in my product search, and I know I've covered this in other webinars, and I like to bang on about it because it's the fundamentals really. But in that product search, if you're setting your profit and ROI as 20% every time, you'll never see that product that come in that's just a few percent ROI. It will just never appear, and then you'll never be able to go into Tactical Edge and see that, wow, I actually could price this higher. So by keeping your filters really low, you can have a lot more control later. There is nothing to stop me from going into view data and saying, you know what, for my first pass, the first time I look at this, I only really want to look at stuff that's over 20%. for the first time that you're looking at this now, I'm only seeing things with much greater margins. In this case, we've got this cleansing bar for sensitive skins now appearing in the 20% or better margin. It's $4.79 product over at Walgreens. But by the time we bought two, got one free and applied the cash back. We've dropped that down. And then we've stacked a bit on top with some prepping, some shipping, and we're looking at $6.30. The product is selling for $18.88. And it is actually selling somewhat regularly at this fairly exorbitant price.
That's a good product. I've sold that before. It's a good product to sell. It
is? Yeah. I mean, look, it's moving fast. I'm looking for a red flag here. Is the size different? They're both 3.9 ounces. I'm going to check restrictions. There's got to be something stopping me because this is too good. Good news, your account has no obvious restrictions. The only thing that could make this better is if it's a merchant fulfilled seller. There we go. Merchant fulfilled seller. Is it in stock? Yes, it's in stock. Let's go over here. $4.79 in stock. Does it have the 10% off as well? Extra 10% off when you spend $20. Okay, all right. So the deals are out there, people. I'm going to jump into. I'm just curious what Tactical Edge is going to tell me about this merchant fulfilled seller. Okay, wow. Everyone selling this is a merchant fulfilled seller right now. So we've got, there is no real hard fast rule. What do you think is a reasonable price to command the buy box for fulfillment by Amazon versus merchant fulfilled? Because I'm looking for where you would slot in between these guys. I would say, personally, you would be able to price higher than both these first guys at $18.88 and $19.17. What do you think?
I don't know. It is such a right now. It's all flipped upside down and turned around.
COVID rules.
Yeah, and so it's really tough. I'm seeing some buy boxes where FBA is taking preference, and then I'm seeing other buy boxes where merchant fulfilled is taking preference. And I've read an article, and it seems to be more on some of what Amazon considers longer tail items. But I'll be honest, I sold something, last month and into this month where we're selling hundreds of units a month, and MF is taking over the buy box much more than FBA is. So it's a weird world. But
that's interesting.
Outside of COVID, I would say that you could be 5% above merchant fulfilled sellers with no problem and get the buy box over there.
Okay. So it wouldn't be silly to go in and pricing this at, say, $19.90, which is over these guys. And it moves so fast. It's 179, monthly sales or thereabouts. So I would assume that if you price it at about that, you will very quickly see whether or not you're getting sales. And if you've got it configured properly, you'll be getting a little alarm notification up in the top of the page using the new view inventory management solution, which basically just gives you a little alert whenever you make a sale. It should go tinkle tinkle, you've made a sale. So I would ship it in at maybe the $20 price point. See if you start making sales. Otherwise, you can adjust it, a little bit accordingly. But I still think that you'll be able to share the buy box pretty easily. At any rate, at 179 monthly sales, this merchant fulfilled seller should have moved his 5 items pretty quickly. I don't know what his replan strategy is there, whether he just has 1,000 of them on the shelf and just keeps on topping that up remotely. But
that's very possible so that's Pharma Packs. They actually just got a $250 million investment from a VC firm to expand their wholesale business. They sell on Amazon, Walmart, eBay, and I believe they also are on Target now.
Oh, cool. Well, and you can also, of course, check what PharmaPack sells as an example by clicking this little button here, and that'll open up a reverse search with their products. Everything's kind of interlinked, and I talk a lot about how if you've got red lights going on here, then you're not searching all the different avenues. That kind of evolved a little bit because it now works on slots. So you've got 7 active searching slots at once. So you can actually make all 7 just product searches. But if you're not using all 7 right now, if you were to start that search where you wanted to start doing a reverse search on PharmaPack's products, sorry PharmaPacks if you're listening, this is just all hypothetical, then this would go green as well, reverse would go green as well, indicating that a reverse search was running as well. So more green dots on the front page, more potential income streams afoot. So there's a couple of different options there. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that you might want to have a look at on a row. If we look at this row, for example, here's something new we just added. This basically tells us, it's a little mouse over here. It doesn't do anything by clicking on it, but if you see the little green clock there, it's telling you that this was last updated within 24 hours. I've just noticed that mouse overs don't actually appear on StreamYard. I'm seeing on my computer last updated within 24 hours. So that's good to know. If it's not, it might be a reasonably old piece of data there, and you can always just update the row using your little update data option there. Checking restrictions is good. You can always use this icon here to show the source and Amazon products with one click. It'll open up both pages for you. It tells us we've got a top 1% item here. Exclude over here. This is if, for example, Vanacream has banned you, or you're restricted in there, and it looks like you're never going to become unrestricted. You just don't want to see Vanacream anymore. You can exclude that from your results. Same with ASINs. You can use the exclude. If we wanted to search, I don't honestly believe we would find this at a better price because of this current deals over at Walgreens. But if we wanted to search the internet, we could also do a reverse search just on this ASIN right there on the row. We know it's a merchant fulfilled seller. We know what the buy box price is right now. We know what the return on investment looks like. We've had a look at Tactical Edge. And over here, we've got a bit more information about the size. And of course, we have our own history graph. The date it was last updated. And of course, you can leave notes here for your virtual assistants as well. If you've done a little bit of a search yourself, or your virtual assistant has done a bit of a search, you might have sort of had a funneling round where your virtual assistant's gone through and picked the ones that they think are worth looking at, and then they might put round 2 in there, for example, and then by the time you come along, you can actually do a search on the notes. Just search for the word round, and you'll just see the ones that they've actually funneled down. So these top of column filters are very good to help you narrow down to what you currently want to look at. And of course, once you've done all that searching with these high ROI items, that's when you might want to look into the lower ROI items to see if there's anything there as well. So anybody who's currently like relying on Walgreens as a staple, please don't feel like I've just given away the farm. There is so many sites, and you should be using the tool like SaleGazer, like we discussed, to have a look at, keeping those searches running as often as you can. Now, we had a bit of a shout out to the 12 days of Tactical Arbitrage prizes before, and we put a post up for day 1 saying shout outs, which are the different features that you like in Tactical Arbitrage. Can you see any of those in there, Chris?
Yeah, the one that gets shouted out the most here is always be scanning. That one is at least 3 times compared to the others have maybe 2 or 1 out here. So always be scanning is really, really popular, and for good reason.
Always be scanning is so good. When we conceived of always be scanning, it seemed like one of those impossible scenarios. Like so many people say, you know, why can't you just give me the deals? Like, it's like, well, come on, man, I'm putting a fishing rod in your hand is the analogy I used to say. We're giving you the fishing rod and pointing you towards the lake and saying, this is how you catch the fish. And then we were like, you know what? Let's give some fish. So Always Be Scanning. It hits up the top 10% of the Amazon catalog. Now, the top 10%, by the time you get down below 6%, you're looking at one sale a month pretty much, or, you know, it's getting slow. You really want to be in a higher percentage bracket, but we have a bit of a buffer. We try and overshoot the buffer to make sure we encapsulate anything that might slip into that, you know, higher bracket periodically. So we're hitting that top bracket of Amazon, but we are not giving the same two customers the same deals. We're basically, it's like playing cards. You know, we're dealing out different cards to each person. So that's why what I'm seeing here in my Always Be Scanning will be completely different to what you see in yours. It has the same column filters and everything, so you can go in there and you can adjust this to just show the United States deals in case you're seeing some Canada deals filter in because of the way the keys work. You might get Canada and USA as well. You've got the category deals. You still can check restrictions on there. You've got your ROI filtering. Now, what we're really looking for and why these products are consistently so good is we're looking for positive ROI and we're looking for a UPC match. Now, UPC match is always going to be cleaner, crisper matches than the slight uncertainty to title and image recognition searches. Now, you can. I hate to digress, and I do digress a lot, but with image recognition searches, such as in Walgreens, for example, would have been earlier, you can adjust the match quality score at the top of the page. Actually, Walgreens is UPC, I think.
It is.
So you can always go to match quality at the top of the page here, and you can adjust how. See, I keep my match quality pretty high. I like to see a nice, good quality match. But you can always change that to anything from, say, 70 or 60 or higher, but know that the lower ones are less likely to be a match than if you look at the 80% and higher. We use advanced image recognition. It was an extremely difficult and long task to add image recognition into Tactical Arbitrage, but it works very well. And if you are looking at title and image type stores when you're searching, you should utilize the match quality column to try and narrow down those items that are a definitive match. Usually, if there's going to be a mismatch in those higher numbers, it comes down to something small like the number of ounces on each product is different, for example. But you should definitely use that. So Always Be Scanning. There's always something on here. This is Spoon. I don't know if I would have gone looking for spoons. This is the beauty of Always Be Scanning. You'll find stuff that you probably wouldn't otherwise look at. You probably weren't going to search the spoon category of web restaurant store, but we have a spoon here. And this spoon, I currently have my Always Be Scanning set up to include tax due to some tests that I had. So this is actually giving me results based on the fact that I'm paying 4.7% tax, which is an arbitrary figure I kind of put in there for some tests that I was running. But in this case, we have an $11.50 spoon. By the time we've bought it over at Web Restaurant Store, which is selling, buy box is being held by Amazon. That's a consideration, but it's being sold for $20 and after fees $13.67. Okay, 19% profit. Does it sell at a reasonable pace? It looks like it is selling at a nice pace. With 101 of these spoons sold across all of the variations. So there's obviously a few different variations of this spoon. But it's safe to say that this particular spoon will be a portion of these sales. And there's only 5 of these spoons left by Amazon. So I don't know. There's just always going to be stuff in here. I focused on the spoon for a minute there, but there's always going to be, stuff in always be scanning. So whenever you kind of want to win for the day, it might be a good place to sort of start when you get some scans going. To just jump on in and have a look at all of the different variety of things that are in there. Cubic zirconia raining cloud stud earrings, another one that I might not have gone looking for. That's over at Macy's. $36.19, selling for $52.99. Not a lot of profit in this one. There's only 10% profit, and it's not really a fast seller. Then again, I say that, but my bank account does not give me 10% profit in a very short space of time. I would rather, if I didn't know what to do with my dollars, rather keep it in stock that is making profit, even if it's like lower end profit, then wait for that 1 to 2% profit from the bank over the course of an entire year. So yeah, always be scanning is a good one. That's a great one. I'll go in and have a look at the comments on Facebook and see who's done that. And if it's mostly always be scanning that's going to be the winning one, then I'll pick a random winner from those for the prize for the first day of Tactical Arbitrage giveaways. But we'll try and come up with something interesting and creative for the Tactical Arbitrage giveaways every day. Now, we've already gone an hour into the show, and we still haven't looked at Javier's extension. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to stop talking and rest my voice for a minute and let you have a talk and share your screen, if you don't mind.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm going to answer a couple of questions in here that folks have put out here. So let's see here. Brand new to TA, looks great so far. Dennis says, so I can give access to my virtual assistant. Yes, absolutely. You can let your virtual assistant get in there and dig into TA. They're not going to break anything. I would suggest that you learn it yourself as well, especially if you're new, which is what you said there before. And then Beverly,
password protect the settings page and the view inventory page. I think it's important that you password protect both those pages. We have had a report, it was about 6 months ago now, where a couple of people came to me and said about their keys. It turned out they were both sharing the same virtual assistant who went rogue, and they hadn't password protected their settings pages. So it does happen where, for the most part, you want to trust people, and they can have great reviews on Upwork. They can come across like lovely people, and then you can find out that they don't have the best of intentions when it comes down to, I don't know, an opportunistic situation. So go into the settings page, and simply at the top of the page, you can put a password in there so that only you can access that page with the password each time. We'll possibly even add additional layers to that over the coming time ahead. But for now, that's a quick and easy way to protect your most sensitive data.
Yeah. And then Beverly was saying, so when you're new, does it take a while to get more quantity in the always be scanning? Seems like I only had a couple. Yes, it does, because that is scanning in real time. It's not something that's pre-populated for you. It's going out and finding new products. So you'll know, I think Alex had a couple thousand. I know that in my account right now, I've got 4,800. And then every 28 days, the ones that are 28 days old are going to fall off. That way they don't get overloaded. So, give it a week, and you're going to see a lot more in there. But also make sure you're taking a look at the ones that come in there, because there's always some diamonds in the rough. So, all right, let me go ahead and I'm going to share my screen here, and I'm going to do screen number 2 today. And then, just so that it doesn't look like I'm looking away from you guys, I'm going to use a different camera.
Oh, nice.
All right, so I'm going to show you guys. One of the features that a lot of folks really seem to like is that we can actually go in and scan brickseek.com. Now, if you're not familiar with brickseek.com, Brickseek allows you to go in and check for local inventory.
Do I need to add this to stream?
Oh, yeah, if you could share that screen, that'd be great. There we go. So one of the things about Q4, especially right now is if you have learned to pivot in your business and you're willing to do a lot more merchant fulfilled than you may have been used to in the previous Q4s, you are likely going to be able to make a lot of profit this year, just because not only is Amazon stretched to their limit logistically, but so is all of the supply chains, and last mile delivery, of course, is going to be stretched really hard. Matter of fact, my mailman didn't show up to my house yesterday, until 8 o'clock at night, which is something I haven't seen ever here. And so those guys are just strapped. So what we can do is we can actually go in here. I can go to my members area and I can go to markdowns by store. And I chose Target. Okay. And so I can actually see the markdowns that are in the stores. And then I chose the 3 that are closest to me. So I chose Castleberry, Altamont Springs, and Orlando East. These are the 3 targets that are the closest to me. And then BrickSeek tells us, here's what's marked down, here's how much it's marked down, and whether or not it's in stock. So I know I can't sell DVDs or Blu-rays, but a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving special edition is marked down from $9.99 from $15, limited stock. And then several other, there's a bunch of other items here that I could also go hunting for. Now, typically, you can't scan this inside of Tactical Arbitrage. Not Tactical Arbitrage's fault. It's just the way that this site is built. But what we can do is we can, through the genius of Javier, we can click on Tactical Expander, and you're going to see that it pulls up a page here, BrickSeek, in the extension. And it actually pulled up one of the URLs for me. Now, I can add multiple URLs if I would like to. And I actually did that earlier for the test scan. I'm not going to do it now just because I don't want to take a bunch of time. But once you put in the URL, we can click Run. And this is going to go in. You can see it shows the current URL here, tells us what page we're on, and it starts gathering the data. So we can see the URL. We've got an image URL. This is especially helpful because Tactical Arbitrage, has advanced image matching algorithms built in, which will, if a title does not come back and if the particular site doesn't have a UPC, then TA can go out and match things based on images, and they don't have to be perfect matches. You could have a toy car that's inside of a box at the source site, and on Amazon, maybe it's outside of the box, and it can still match those items. So once you gather all of this data, which, as you can see, is pretty quick, you can click the Export to TA button. Okay, that's going to throw it over to Tactical Arbitrage for you automatically, so you don't have to do anything else. Now, we're going to go ahead and clear this data. The other thing you can do is you can actually, Javier added sites. You can actually, there's 229 sites currently inside of Tactical Expander. And you can see there, a lot of them are from the USA because, of course, that's the largest market. But there are Canadian sites, there's German sites, et cetera, and so on. And there are things like, for example, if you're back from Ohio where I am, we've got Kroger. So you can actually source the Kroger local stores. Down here in Florida, I've got Publix. If you've never had a Publix sub and you come to Florida, I will make sure to buy you one. They're life-changing. So I can go ahead and I can source my local Publix, which before all had to be done by hand. Now, let me get back to my other screen here. Now, once we've gathered all that data and we've thrown it over to Tactical Arbitrage, we can go to our product search. And the very cool thing is that we can click this. It'll load here in just a moment. I've got too many tabs open and way too many windows. We can actually click on this Scan Stores Imported from Tactical Expander. We click on this, and you're going to see something that looks very similar to an Easy Bulk over here. You'll see that BrickSeek.com grabbed 795 products. This is from a This is from a scan I did a little bit earlier. You'll see that it was on 11/17 of 2020, and UTC time was 1912. Now I can also delete this if I want to. If I don't want to see it anymore, I can get rid of it. Okay, but all I do is I select it. I make sure that all my filters are popped in here. So you'll see I've got fairly loose filters, just like Alex talks about, one estimated sale. I've got my fees in here for retail arbitrage, which is what BrickSeek would end up being. I've got my profit and ROI set nice and wide at $1 and 10%. And then I've got my other filters to also show Amazon out of stock results. And once I have this all set up, I click my orange search button and it's off to the races while I go take my kiddo out for a bike ride. Now, once I come back, and you'll actually see that I like to name my scans as well. So this particular scan was called BS for BrickSeek. And then I give it a little bit more data. That way I can figure out what's going on. But you'll see when I come back, I've actually got data ready to go. There's 142 items total that were found. That took about 25 minutes out of those 795 items. And I've put on some filters to bring it down to 90 items. I'm going to scroll over here a little bit so we can see those history graphs. And what we can see is we've got some Halloween, or we've got some chocolates up there at the top. Those look like they might be a match. I don't see any I don't see any quantities on those. So these ones might be a match, and if they're still in stock, they might actually be a good buy. It's not meltable season anymore, so you can send things in. We've got some toys that match. You can see that those are matches. These one's a blue. Yeah, they're both Blu-rays. We need to make sure that that's a 4-film collection. This one's a Daniel Craig collection, so they're not quite right. These ones are a little off on the size. We've got a match here, and then we've got a match on the Minecraft cereal. Now, if this one for me would be something I would, I like to sell special edition stuff, so this one for me looks interesting, especially if the expiration dates would be good, but looks like it's marked down to $4 at one of my local Targets, and it seems to be selling for about $15 on Amazon at the moment. So a nice little profit on that one. And that's really all the harder that it is to use Tactical Expander. You pick a site, you pick yourself a URL or a couple of URLs, you go grab the data, and then you run it through Tactical Arbitrage just like a regular product search, and then you go and find the deals. A lot of these sites are online. Nike has some really great matches. Adidas has some really great matches. BrickSeek allows you to find products that have been marked down locally at Walmart, Target, I want to say Office Depot, Staples, CVS, and several other stores. And then you've got places that other people can't hit. You got Kroger and your Publix and HEB and a bunch of other sites that there are a bunch of other places that are just local to you. So an incredibly powerful tool that allows you to go in and find, allows you to fish ponds that are stocked but are not available to all the other fishermen that are out there. And that's what Tactical Expander was built to do. Now, I will have to say, let me go ahead and stop sharing this screen here. I will have to say that I did twist Javier's arm. And there are, as of right now, there are 25 of these available, but only 25. Then you're going to have to wait for Black Friday and whatever Javier decides to do on Black Friday. So if you want a copy, you can go grab one. You can get, there's 25 people who can get in between tonight and tomorrow.
Where would they be able to get in on that? Is there a link?
I made a short link. It's a bit.ly short link. It's bit.ly/tactical expander.
I'm looking. bit.ly/tactical. 24 licenses left. Okay.
Oh, there's 24 left. There was 25 when we hopped on.
Somebody's fast. Okay, well, that's very cool. So I knew he was not going to release anymore for a while. So the fact that he's been able to do that for this little show, very appreciative. I'll have to owe him a carton of beer or something, I think.
I had to put one arm behind his back
in Australia.
Had to put one arm behind his back, and Nate had the other one.
That's our currency in Australia. It's a carton of beer for this and a carton of beer for that.
I like it. Let's see. So DM says, Chris, can you automate the new tactical bucket extension to always check your local stores and generate CSVs? No, and that's probably not a good idea. The only reason you wouldn't want to automate something like that outside of handing it off to a virtual assistant is a lot of these sites, the very reason they're not in tactical arbitrage is because the sites don't like to have their data taken and used in this manner. So you don't want to try to automate something like this and then get yourself banned from a site or have it protect itself from being scraped, essentially. And then could I make one CSV file for 3 Walmart locations? Yeah. I was trying to be fast because I know we're a little over an hour, but earlier I did that. I did that with 3 Target locations, and I turned it into 1 scan.
Awesome. Well, that's all the news fit to print for today. Everybody's got some very important Q4 business to attend to. The tactical arbitrage Black Friday specific deals are being put together at the moment, and as part of the 12 days of tactical arbitrage Christmas, which has started today, I'll make sure that I get the information of that out there as well. I want to thank very much Christopher Grant for coming to join me today. I know he's been extremely busy with the very popular OA challenge lately. But I release you for the rest of the year, Chris. We are all going to be, including everybody who watches this show, going to be very, very busy for the rest of the year. And I look forward to jumping in 2021 to start this again. Thank you to everybody who watches the show. We enjoyed immensely. And Nate, I'm sure Nate McAllister will be joining us again next year in the next season of Late Night with Tactical Arbitrage. Anything else you want to shout out before I hit the outro?
No. Thanks for being here, everybody. I will hopefully everybody crushes Q4. I'll see you in 2021.
Peace, guys.